Good evening, I'm John Yang. With just 9 days to go until Election Day, the presidential candidates and their running mates are heading into the home stretch. Their travels are being dictated by poll numbers and the calculus of getting to 270 electoral votes.
People feel real pain. But like Paul, we must remember that divine power works through our actions.
At the Church of Christian Compassion in Philadelphia this morning, Vice President Harris tapped into her faith to deliver her message.
I see a nation determined to turn the page on hatred and division, to chart a new way forward. I see Americans from so-called red states and blue states who are ready to bend the arc of history toward justice.
Philadelphia is the largest city in a state critical to winning the White House. She plans to blitz all 7 battleground states over the next 4 days.
We got a guy that's openly saying he wants to be a dictator, a guy that wants to take away reproductive rights.
Running mate Tim Walz was in one of them, Nevada, pressing the campaign's focus on reproductive freedom. That was also part of former First Lady Michelle Obama's message to voters last night in Michigan.
So please, do not hand our fates over to the likes of Trump, who knows nothing about us, who has shown deep contempt for us. Because a vote for him is a vote against us, against our health, against our worth.
Republican vice presidential nominee J.D. Vance made the rounds of the Sunday shows. On CBS's Face the Nation, Vance denied the Democrats' assertion that a vote for the Republican ticket is a vote against women and pivoted to talk about the economy.
I think it's a more interesting reflection of Kamala Harris's campaign that at this late stage, she's not talking about how she can lower the price of groceries because she raised the price of groceries.
So you made it up?
Before something goes out there. No, I said that
In a combative interview on CNN's State of the Union, Vance was pressed about former President Trump's references to the enemy from within.
I think the bigger problem are the people from within. We have some very bad people. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics. And I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military. I think Nancy Pelosi is an enemy from within.
he's talking about people rioting after the election. I think
The Pelosi's were rioting after the election?
You're using 2 separate phrases. He said about using the military, that far-left lunatics, people who riot in the wake of an election, people who burn down American cities in the summer of 2020, yes.
This afternoon, Trump is to speak at a rally in New York's Madison Square Garden. In the Middle East, Egypt has proposed a 2-day ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, during which 4 Israeli hostages would be freed. There's been no immediate response from either side. In northern Gaza, an Israeli offensive is entering its 3rd week. Airstrikes killed at least 22 people in Beit Lahia, most of them women and children. Hamas is praising an attack at a bus stop north of Tel Aviv. Dozens of people were injured when a truck rammed into a bus. Police are investigating it as a terrorist incident. And in Jerusalem, hecklers disrupted a speech by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at a ceremony honoring the victims of the October 7th attacks.
משפחות יקרות, זכר קרוביכם.
Those people were shouting shame on you in Hebrew. Many Israelis blame Netanyahu for the failures that led to the attacks and for failing to bring home all the hostages. Separately, in his first public comments on the retaliatory strike in Iran, Netanyahu said Israel had disrupted Iran's defense and missile capabilities. New satellite images show damage to a secret military base that may have been linked to Tehran's nuclear weapons program. Iran's supreme leader said the attack shouldn't be either exaggerated or minimized. He did not call for a military response. The president of Georgia is refusing to recognize the results of Saturday's elections. She said the country was the victim of a Russian special operation. Early results give the ruling party 53% of the vote, but European election observers express concerns about vote buying, double voting, and physical violence and intimidation. Georgia's ruling party has become increasingly authoritarian, cracking down on free speech just as neighboring Russia has. Still to come on PBS News Weekend, the importance of down-ballot races like the one for the Ohio State Supreme Court. and scientists search for ways to battle a bat-killing fungus.
This is PBS News Weekend from the David M. Rubenstein studio at WETA in Washington, home of the PBS NewsHour, weeknights on PBS.